Hi, I'm here with Lindsay Gary, the multidisciplinary artivist, professor, scholar, and social entrepreneur whose aim it is to educate, connect, and empower the African diaspora. Lindsay, I want to ask you first, how are you doing?
I'm really, really good. It's so good to be here with you, one of my good friends, to be here at CAM. It's something I wanted to do for a long time, so I'm glad we get to finally be here in the space.
So I really would love to dive right in and ask you about CAMH Connects and the piece that you are presenting.
Yes, well, I'm really excited to present it. The piece is called Yemaya and the Flood, and it's pretty much a culmination of a lot of research and dance studies I've been doing over the past 4 or 5 years. And so Yemaya is an orisha of the Yoruba tradition, the African spirituality, and Yemaya is the orisha of motherhood and of the ocean. And so I was really, really inspired by that, being in the space in this particular exhibit by Elizabeth Murray and Jesse Reeves, which is about the home and it's about motherhood. And I was thinking about bringing that together with my own studies and also with it being Black History Month and what does all this mean to me. So I was thinking about not only the idea of mother, but what does mother mean in my African culture and my African standpoint. It has to do with homeland, right? Not just the physical mother, but the place in which we came from. And also it has to do with our ancestors and all these different figures. And so I really wanted to find a way to bring all these things together while celebrating Black History Month as well. And so this piece is actually not the first time that I've come up with the idea, but it was a perfect opportunity to really bring things together. At least an excerpt of the piece would be in this space. And so really the piece is about water, it's about all of its manifestations, right? So thinking of the ocean, which Yemaya represents, but also which that also represents is birth and motherhood and libation and pouring and leaking and flooding. And so what do all these things mean in the home and for the home? I know most recently we had the winter storm. We saw a lot of leaking in our homes, right? That can be one example, but really pulling on all these different elements and having them be executed through the art of dance.
As I listen to you talk, I hear you talk about honoring this pull from the past and also bringing it into contemporary society.
Yes.
And I know that you have your company, Dance Afrikana, which does traditional African dance and contemporary. For you as an artist, what is your process in honoring that? How do you stay true to the past but still present your art in the way that you do? Because I've seen your art before, but in the way that you do in such a contemporary way.
Yeah, well, I think that sometimes the past is very present, even though it may seem like it's something in the so-called past, it's still with us. And so I'm always thinking about ways to keep those people who are from the past with us, because they still are. So our ancestors are still very present, even if they were some, people who walked this earth physically years ago. And so I think that the past and our present times are actually in some ways one and the same, and they blend and mold themselves together.
What is something for you? Because as an artist, I know that there are times we present pieces and it's just for us. There are times we present pieces and we want the audience to learn something. There are times we present and we want the audience to just enjoy it, just experience it, just feel. For you, for Yemaya and the Flood, what does this piece mean and how are you presenting it? What would you expect from the audience, or are you not expecting anything?
Yeah, well, for me, it means really connecting to this ancestral energy, to this energy of motherhood, even drawing on our installation over at Project Row Houses, where we focus on motherhood, right? Thinking of all these things that I've been thinking about for a long time is something that I'm always playing with. And so for me, it means honoring those things always in different ways, right? But I want other people to really just experience what they experience, right? See what you feel, see what you see. I don't want to exactly tell people what to feel, but I want them to actually be able to experience it to the best of their ability without even thinking about what the piece is about. Just what do you feel, right? How is this piece embodying things that resonate with you?
One of the things that I really enjoy about artists is that I know that they can pull inspiration from anywhere. And as I listen to you talk, I hear you talk about your studies in Brazil, studying Cuban dance. I know that you are a professor and scholar. what are the things in your life that keep you inspired?
Ooh, everything. But mainly spirituality is a huge one. African culture, history, those are huge inspirations for me. And most recently, I've been much more inspired by the environment. I think for a long time I was not necessarily detached, but didn't really draw on the inspiration of the things right next to us and right around us. And so this is one of the first pieces I've done that, where I've drawn on that as inspiration, a large inspiration, being water. And so that's something that I want to continue to incorporate into my art. But, you know, I was inspired by this, you know, exhibit as well, especially in this piece. You know, I instantly saw Yemaya when I saw this piece, and I don't think that that was the artist's intention, but that's what I saw and felt. That's what I connected with. So I want the audience to be able to do the same thing with what they're seeing, not just my piece, but then also my piece specifically in this place, in this space.
I would love to ask you about your process. I know the current climate is totally different with social distancing. We're leaning into virtual everything. So were there any shifts that you had to make in preparation for this piece?
So many shifts over the past year now. I can't believe it's been a year, at least for me, and what I've been doing. But yeah, there have been a lot of, I guess for everybody too, but there have been a lot of shifts. You know, initially this type of piece would have, you know, typically been performed with an audience, a live audience, people in person. But actually I'm happy that we are able to do it still, but also able to do it virtually, because actually it means that so many more people have access to it. As long as they have, you know, social media, they can watch it, right? You can be anywhere in the world watching this piece. And so that gives me hope. It's something that I definitely want to continue. I've always incorporated, what's the word I'm looking for? I've always incorporated, you know, technology into my pieces. I love to use projection, video,
different multimedia.
That's been something we've been doing that even with Pretty Culture. So we've been doing that for a long time. And so that's something I've been wanting to do and continue to do, but this gives me a new way to do it. And it makes me want to keep the virtual world in mind when I create, and not just have to shift to it if something comes up, but something that I can always go to and pull from.
Lindsay, you have definitely inspired me.
You inspired me.
You I love the fact that you can see everything and you pull from the past and then you bring it in contemporary. It's like no matter what's happening, you still get your art out, regardless of what's going on virtually.
I have to let it go.
You're still getting it out, and even just to bring back up, like how you talked about the ice storm and relating that to like the leaking in the homes and this exhibit being about the home, and then thinking about the flood and Yemaya and water. Mm-hmm. It's very inspiring to hear you as an artist. Like everything you see, you are inspired by, and that's amazing, because we really need that type of hope. Like right now in the climate, that's absolutely beautiful and inspiring.
We do, and there's inspiration everywhere. It's just a matter of listening and looking and being present to be able to feel those things. So I hope that the people watching, you know, are present and really are able to, you know, look beyond the screen and really feel what's taking place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for talking to me. I'm so excited to see your piece.
I'm excited to see it too. Look, I'm excited to see it too. Thank you.